Now we're going to meet the author of A Single Day of Peace, Stephen D'Angelo. Thank you so much for joining us, Stephen.
Well, it's my pleasure. I very much appreciate you having me.
Well, I love what we're going to talk about. And, my hope is through these conversations, we make a big difference in people's lives. And the first thing is, so many of us ultimately want to live in peace, happiness, and success, but this could be a real struggle for us. So you talk about this in your book, and how can we start moving in the right direction?
Yes. So, the book, as you know, it came from lots of research of working alongside very successful people that were happy and very successful people, candidly, that were not so happy, that had the struggles. And what I observed through my business life associating with lots of successful people is the successful people did things differently. They truly did. And very often people would say, well, people are successful. What do you mean they're not happy? And I would say, no, just success does not bring you happiness. And there's a couple of things foundationally that the people did. Now, as you know, throughout my book, I talk about principles of success and happiness, but the foundational things to move into that area of happiness as we all strive to execute, I'd say one of the key foundations is around a consciousness of energy, a consciousness of the energy that you are projecting to your fellow man, woman, to the universe, to the spirit inside you. I think that as more and more people start recognizing that the universe gives back to you that which you put out there, the way in which we can avoid, some of these struggles is let's be really, really conscious of what am I putting out. The moments we tend to see as inappropriate, too negative, shouldn't be happening. And I think the frame of mind should be moments are part of the journey. Yeah. And if we understand those adversity moments, we deal with some very large things that are adverse, and we deal with some simple things, but those moments are natural. And if we have that mindset that there's nothing wrong with me, it's not like the woe is me. This is a natural progressing. I have to deal with good things and not so good things. And if I put the right energy to the not so good things, we get through them faster, and things turn positive.
Let's talk about it. So you've spoken about some of these approaches, and another thing that's become very big for you and helped you is the spirituality aspect. And that too has become something that was huge for me, turning myself over to my higher power, recognizing that change in me, and then seeing signs from the other side of my spiritual connection. So can you expand on that?
I sure can. I tell you a quick story about that. It's interesting. As I did my work with, as I said, successful people, and I'm talking all walks of life, not just business success or professional athletes, yes, billionaires, but people that started a school for children with autism, successful homemakers. Being successful is really doing things that you love. So those people that were successful, one of the things I observed is that they do have spirituality in them. And I often would talk to them about that. And very often some would say to me, I'm not very spiritual at all. I don't know where you're coming from with that. I don't know what I believe in, a higher power. And I would point out things that they do, like some of them would meditate, which I'm a big believer in, or some of them have these philanthropic activities they're involved in. And as I shared with them, see, these are spiritual kinds of things. They would reflect and say, okay, you may be right here. I may have more of a spiritual foundation than I thought. And for me, I would say that really is the core of everything for me, right? Yes, I believe in God. I'm a practicing Catholic, but it's more than religion. And in my book, A Single Day of Peace, as you know, I talk more about spirituality. And for me, that is kind of the foundation. Things are going to go sideways. Things are going to go well. I'm going to stink some days. Some days I'm going to be great. But if I have that foundation of the spirit inside me, a higher power is inside me, I'm connected to that, and I'm going to see this through. And I may not understand what's happening right now that I think I don't want, but good things are going to come out of it.
And something positive came from it.
That's right.
So we are almost out of time, but I do want to talk about this because it's so important. The 50 principles that you mention here, and these are things that we can add to our days to start to change our lives. So can you just tell us your top 3 and then where we can find you?
Sure. Top 3. First one, I would say, be silent. What I mean by that is today we have so much coming in from the outside world, news media, emails, social media. There is a very helpful, spiritual, peaceful thing about spending silence each day. Let your inner voice talk to you. I'd say that's a top one. A second top one would be, actually it's my first principle, it's celebrate your difference. We all are different. And sometimes we look at ourselves, I'm too fat, I'm too thin, I'm too tall, I'm too this, I'm too that. God has made only one of us, so celebrate your difference. And then the final one I would say is realizing that life is a self-fulfilling prophecy. That which we put out comes back to us. So we could create our future by understanding that life is a self-fulfilling prophecy. They would be my top three.
Exactly. So please tell us where we can find your book and find you.
Certainly. Thank you. Amazon, you can get it there. It was a new release bestseller, so it's there on Amazon. You can come to my website, asingledayofpeace.com. You can purchase it there, or you can always email at singledayofpeace@gmail.com if you'd like to connect with me.
Thank you so much. I love the practices because I myself have changed my life about it that way too. So love it, love it. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Take care.